Hi guys, it's Ian again. Thanks for tuning in to my channel. Yeah, today we're going to do another book review. Today's book is Traffic by Tom Vanderbilt. I can never quite say his name right, but this book, wow. I'm not really a reader, and this is a fairly heavy read. There's a lot of detail and technicalities inside there. And to prove a point, and I always say this to anybody where I recommend this book, and this book comes extremely highly recommended, it really does, is to have a look at how many notes and referencing there is in the back of this book, which is absolutely huge. There's a good centimetre worth there, in quite small text as well. But some of the research that Tom references in here is fabulous, absolutely brilliant. And some of the approach of the book really is talking very much about how we manage traffic and our approach to it. He starts off talking about why does the other lane always seem to go faster, why you're not as good a driver as you think you are, and also, ironically, and I touch on this in my own book, is when dangerous roads are actually safer. And there's a whole risk paradox around that, which is fascinating as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, a really fascinating read. Even if you are not particularly into driving, it's quite actually interesting if you're quite into factual books, which I am. And very well written. It's actually very readable considering the subject, and quite funny in parts. So yeah, very good book, highly recommended. Lots of learning point, lots and lots of learning from me, in terms of, in some ways it's concreted some of my thinking and approaches towards how we use the road. And recently I've had an interesting discussion with somebody about what is progress. Fantastic question, very hard to answer that. What is progress on the road? By which I mean, you know, getting there in good time essentially. But this sort of answers that question in some ways, which is very much that essentially, even if you are the keenest driver in the world, and even if we possibly could exceed the speed limits, then how much further would we get forward? And the answer is very little in reality, particularly unless we've got blue lights, and sirens of course. But it also talks very much about how we engineer the roads and why we engineer the roads that way, and the psychology behind that, which really fascinates me. So anybody interested in this book, go and have a look online. It actually popped up as a suggestion when I ordered something off Amazon, as ever. But I had a look into it and thought, yeah, it's got good reviews, and I'll go and have a look at that. Highly recommended. I've connected with the guy on Twitter. Actually need to contact him for some permissions for my book. But very recommended indeed. It's saying $9.99. I'm absolutely certain you'll get a better deal than that online, because it's been out a while now. And ironically, there was a driving instructor, quite a highly trained driving instructor, that commented on something online this morning on Twitter, suggesting that where we have a closing off of traffic, we should move over nice and early, and I absolutely agree there. The only thing is this book explains that the same thing. Yeah, we should probably move over early in terms of politeness and sort of normal human behaviour. However, in actual fact, for traffic flow purposes, to get the maximum flow through that section, merging at a single point is the best. But the reality of that situation is there's far more to it than that, because we're human and we get very easily frustrated and emotional behind the wheel, which this book touches on quite a lot actually, about the psychology of it all. So very interesting, go and have a look. Thanks for listening. If you've got any questions or queries, feel free to comment below, and also to subscribe, and thanks for listening. Thank you.